Well,
Hey
hi.
guys, welcome back. We're doing this is take two of ketogenic diet versus multiple sclerosis and rosacea, and does it help? So those of you guys on YouTube, Teresa and I just got halfway through our video, which is we do a recording for YouTube and we upload it later. But Facebook is live, and we were in the middle of doing a Facebook Live, and we're just running our mouths. We didn't have the microphone turned on, and a few people were nice enough to say, "Hey guys, there's no sound," and we're like, by the time we realized it was too late. So we're starting over, take two.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys already got the introduction. If you're new to the channel, I'm Mark. I'm a certified health coach. This is Teresa. She's a board certified family nurse practitioner. We're with Total Health and Wellness, and we like to talk about hormones, metabolic health, and everything in between. We're on 3 different platforms: Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And so all of them are formatted a little bit differently. But if you're on those flavors of social media, feel free to like and subscribe and follow us.
Yep.
Right? Okay. So Teresa was just
at your meal.
Oh, yeah. But I can't get into the whole thing yet until I do the meal. Okay. So I have a New York strip here that I did, and I pan seared it on the gas grill. And Teresa actually marinated it with
brown sugar, swerve brown sugar, a couple sticks of butter, garlic, Italian seasoning, Worcestershire sauce, Dijon mustard.
Yum. It's delicious. Whatever this stuff is she puts on here, this is my favorite. And then I put a few pads of butter, and I add some of this. It's a mixture of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan cheese. I put that on there, and it's kind of flaky for salads. And I also like to put on Jane's Crazy Mixed Up Salt. So that's really good. And then Teresa did her usual scrambled eggs.
Yep.
And then she did a cheesy bread.
Yeah, so I just take shredded cheddar and Monterey Jack cheese in a pan with parchment paper, put it on broil, and I put garlic on the top, Italian seasoning, and Jane's Crazy. And I just broil it so you want it. I went to iron a shirt, so it got a little darker than I probably would have done it, but I still think it's going to be really good.
It's going to be
I had a bite before we came on. It was good.
But it's going to be a little bit cold, and my mouth is watering now. It's the second time I've had to put that in front of my face and smell it tonight. So, all right, guys. So does the ketogenic, well, first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself because we're doing this twice. Yeah, we already did. If Teresa really quick is going to go into just a quick description of what multiple sclerosis is and what rosacea is.
Yeah. So MS is an autoimmune disease where it destroys the myelin sheath, which protect the nerves. And you can have flare-ups, and then it kind of goes into remission and then flares up. There's lots of pharmaceutical injections that you can do to help. But the biggest problem is coordination. People don't get the signals from their brain because the nerves are not encased with the myelin sheath that sends the signals down. And so it's a coordination difficulty. And they trip and they fall, and that's why they usually end up in a wheelchair. And then rosacea, on take 1, you said it's Santa Claus. So it's usually limited to the face, and it's just red bubbles on your face, and like your nose can get super red and swollen, and nobody likes that. I mean, we all want to look cute when we talk to people, and no one wants to have that.
Yeah, totally. Well, so we talked a little bit about this before also, is that really at the root cause of all disease, no matter what disease we're talking about, is inflammation, okay? In the ketogenic diet, a strict therapeutic ketogenic diet is really, it's the ultimate anti-inflammatory diet. So when you're reducing, or when you're eating that way, you're reducing inflammation, which can, okay, and this is not medical advice, and reach out to your highly trained and knowledgeable medical provider if you want to know how to find one. Links in the description and the comments to LowCarb USA, the smhp.org, and things like that. So, where was I going with that? So the bottom line is that you can by reducing your inflammation overall, you can treat, you can prevent, you can cure or reverse diseases, like the different disease process. And there's so many disease processes. I mean, we talk about cancer, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes. We talk about heart disease, cardiovascular disease, PCOS. What else? What
IBS, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, mental health issues. Mental health, Dr. Chris Palmer has been talking about it being a mitochondrial inflammatory disease of the brain. Yeah.
This is why the ketogenic diet, and I'll remind you here in a second exactly what the ketogenic diet is, but this is why it's so effective in treating so many different things. So you'll hear influencers out there and doctors and whatnot saying, oh, it's terrible. They claim it cures everything. Well, it kind of does. I mean, maybe it at least helps with a lot of things because of that anti-inflammatory process that it has. So
if you're living with something with like MS and it helps it 60%, wouldn't you be like, thank you, I'll take that? Yeah. You'd be grateful.
Yeah. And so as far as what a ketogenic diet is, if it's formulated properly, you're running 70 to 80% fat intake, all right, in your meals daily. And you're running maybe 10 to 15% protein, and then you're running another maybe 5% carbohydrate. You don't want higher. I don't think higher than 5. We probably do less than 5.
Yeah.
But that's a very strict. And then you go into low carb. So low carb would be a little bit more balanced, a little bit less fat, more moderate protein, and then lower carbohydrate in comparison to the typical standard American diet, which is incredibly high in carbohydrates. Yeah. So that's just a quick refresher for us on what we're talking about when we're talking about keto, low carb.
Yep.
All right. So how does the ketogenic diet help with? Let's talk about multiple sclerosis first.
Well, and it makes me wonder if, and I don't think we have great studies on it, but if you could even remyelinize your sheaths that have been demyelinized, because if you're taking out plants and things that are inflammatory, would your body innately be able to heal? Because we were designed to live in victory, and we were designed divinely to, if we support our body's going to do what it needs to do. If you're eating Pop-Tarts, pasta, and cereal, that's no nutrients, that's straight sugar, and your body doesn't know what to do with any of that you're putting in your body. So if you treat it well and eat the appropriate nutrients, who knows what can happen?
Yeah, and I'm glad you. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned studies, because you're almost there. So the ketogenic diet is probably the most well-studied way of eating that there is out there, if not the absolute. Yeah. There's more studies about it, but it's very difficult to get these studies done because nobody really seeks to benefit financially from that. It's millions of dollars. It's a lot of red tape you've got to cut through to get these studies done. And the pharmaceutical companies are certainly not going to, or the food companies, none of them are going to sponsor this kind of these kind of studies. So you have to really go out and look. If you get into the LowCarb USA and you get into the smhp.org websites, they have a lot of references and a lot of resources, so you can find people who do these studies. And it comes to people who come to mind are like Verta Health and Steve Finney, or you got Dave Feldman doing a lot of work with cholesterol.
Jeff Finney's partner, Jeff
Volek.
Yeah.
Jeff Volek, yeah. But that's all part of Verta Health.
Yeah.
So, but there are some studies specifically with ketogenic diet in MS, and I'll just go over them really quick. I've got them written down here. So, some pilot studies that first of all, the ketogenic diet is well tolerated in MS patients, meaning that they don't have a hard time with it. So though they do okay with that, and so it actually, as far as them having difficulty with being on the ketogenic diet, that's not what's being seen in these studies that they're doing. Animal studies are showing that the animals are having an increased immunity, decreased disease severity, and it also promotes what Teresa was just talking about a minute ago, the remyelination of the myelin sheath. So the actual animal studies showed that. So there was a factor with it being rebuilt or at least reconstituted. Yeah. And then there are human studies. They did one that had 65 people with MS had improved body composition, less fatigue, less depression, higher quality of life, and improved neurological function. So initially, this is all looking very positive for multiple sclerosis and the ketogenic diet, right? So we also go ahead. Well, I'm
just going to say something smarmy, so it's you. Go ahead.
All right, so this is your show. I'm just kind of here, but anyway. So talking about the gut bacteria. So when you're on a ketogenic diet, your gut bacteria kind of re-establishes itself. Some of the bad bugs go away, you get new bugs, and then the ones that you already had that were good, they kind of they increase in population. Yeah. So changes take place. So there's some positive results in some of these studies that are showing that change, that recolonization of the gut bacteria is helpful with MS, because the gut bacteria release certain elements into your system that are they help improve your immune response, and that's good for fighting off disease. So that's a very big positive. Go ahead with your smarmy.
Well, I was just going to say, first of all, we were designed to live in victory, and we know that God is the ultimate healer. We just on Wednesday night heard a testimony of an MS patient after 27 years getting up out of the wheelchair and doing jumping jacks. Now, also Terry Walls, who is an internal medicine doctor in, do we know Iowa?
I think we said Iowa, but not sure.
Illinois, 100%. Something like that. But anyway, she's been an MS patient for a long time in a wheelchair. Now she walks around and rides a bike. Yeah. So, and it was all with diet.
Yes.
So, but you have to ask your provider. And if you just go ask your Joe Schmo provider and not the ones that we have listed in the comments or the description, they don't learn this. Nobody learns this in school. So my smarmy thing is, if a patient gets up out of a wheelchair and starts walking, is the doctor going to say you're going to die because your cholesterol is too high? Yes. The answer is yes. They will say that. That bugs me.
All right. Well, moving right along, the ketogenic diet also, because of the resulting ketones that are circulating around the body, also provide neuroprotective factors, and they aid in the repair and regeneration of your neuro system, your neurological system. So it's very positive with that. And then a big side effect, I like to call it, because a lot of people get into the ketogenic way of eating or low carb to lose weight. I always say losing weight or losing fat is just a side effect of that. The stuff that it's doing for you, for your overall health, not to minimize losing weight or fat, but the other things that it can potentially do for your overall health will overshadow that. Right? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, we all want to feel like we look good in our clothes, but if you're an MS patient and now you're walking and not falling and tripping over yourself, yeah, it's a big deal.
Right, right. All right, do you want to move along to rosacea?
Sure.
Okay, so similar, very limited studies on rosacea. I had a hard time finding anything on that specifically, but at the end of the day, the same thing. It's anti-inflammatory, and a rosacea is an inflammatory process in your body. So lowering the inflammation in your body by eating this way also helps with rosacea. So there is some anecdotal work that's being done with those, and we can see that there's an anti-inflammatory process due to the ketones. We mentioned that before, so that helps with the rosacea. There's a lower oxidative stress, which is helpful for skin conditions specifically when you're on a ketogenic diet. So that's helpful. And then also you get improved gut health, which we mentioned before, and that helps with the immune response. The healthier your gut, the healthier your immune system. Yeah. So all of those lead to an ability of the ketogenic diet to help with rosacea as well.
Yeah, and in functional medicine spaces, skin stuff is always liver health. And so if you're on a ketogenic or very low carb diet, you are taking all that fat out of your liver for fatty liver, and your liver is going to function better. And so that will automatically help any skin stuff. So for sure. Like eczema, rosacea, all that.
Yeah. Right on. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I want to say that it's time to start planning your low carb trip for San Diego in August. Ooh. So you got to make arrangements. And if you can't go in person, you need to go ahead and buy a virtual ticket now.
LowCarbUSA.org.
Yep.
Is where you can order that ticket. And like Teresa said, it's virtual as well. They're having it at the Hotel Coronado in Coronado, California, just right by San Diego. Yeah. So that's exciting. Usually they have it at the Wyndham Bayside in San Diego. This is the first year that we've gone that it's been at a different location. So we're excited for that. Yeah. A little bit bummed because we like the location it was at before, but I'm sure this new one is going to be great.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, Jeannie said she read about, I guess that's probably Dr. Walls you're talking about. She read about her a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in that Dr. Walls Teresa was talking about her because she has MS. She has what's called the Walls protocol. So she developed her own protocol that you can look up online that she used to treat her MS. Yeah. It isn't aligned with the way that we do it. I think she was more of a plant-based.
Is she?
I thought she was because she's
I think it changed to a little bit more ketogenic, but it's still plants. So just remember, for autoimmune stuff, there are case studies, which are just providers saying, this is what happened to my patient. But Anthony Chafee had a type 1 diabetic, so that's pancreatic or autoimmune dysfunction of the pancreas. And when the guy took out plants altogether, his pancreas function came back. We've never seen that before, ever. I don't know if it'll last. Chafee doesn't know if it'll last, but that's exciting.
Yeah, it is really good news.
So,
all right, guys. Well, as always, we'll drop information of things, the different links and things like that to podcast, our website, Low Carb USA, things like that will be down in the comment section on Facebook and in the description on YouTube. So check those out. And
if you're over 40, get a weighted vest.
You can order them on Amazon. They have different weights. You just the more weight you order for, the more expensive they are.
Mine's 20 pounds and it was $40
for 20 pounds. And then they also have some adjustable ones where you can add weights into them. So, but anyway, that's on Amazon. So as always, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So we love you all.
So much.
God bless you. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
All right. Don't forget, food matters, guys. Bye.